Sweet Mary Joseph and the wee little donkey. That was absolutely horrific. Welcome to the live fan reaction show. Get involved. The link is in the description and it will be pinned on the live chat very, very shortly. And I never get to present this thing when we win a game, so it's no coincidence that I'm back on this after we've lost. I'm here with Brandon. Brandon, sum up that game for me.
Piss poor, lack of inspiration, no motivation. We didn't show up at all. We looked like we didn't want to win either. So yeah, one shot on goal says it all for me. Sloppy.
Absolutely.
Just I think Bruce and the players took it maybe a little bit too far, but that they are pretty sure that they are secured already a new next year of Premiership.
I mean, yeah, the chances are we are pretty safe, but
well, they played like
hey, you're still 17th in the league, and it's still not until it's mathematically possible. Then we're still in danger. But as I say, do feel free to join us on the stream this afternoon. We are going to be live until 5:30, and then we've got Scoring the Players. Please do hit the like on the video as well. Our first guest this afternoon is going to be Steve from the US of A. Good afternoon, Steve.
Hey, what's going on?
I mean, you sound way too cheerful after that game.
That's sarcasm. Oh shit!
What disappointed you most about today?
That Bruce is still in charge of the team.
But having said that, if you looked at you see the lineup when it came out, and you would say most people would have chosen the same lineup. What would you have done differently?
I wouldn't have shown them the Premier League table. I wouldn't have shown them any of that. I would have been like, you guys have to win this game because there's no desire. There was no desire today. The lineup obviously was nice because we got Wilson back in and we had Saint-Maximin, but like again, Shelby gets a start and he doesn't deserve it, frankly. And it's just like it was pathetic.
Steve, do you think that we even wanted to win today or even draw?
I don't think they cared. Like I said, I just feel like that they feel safe, but the math doesn't back it up that we're mathematically safe. So it's like, again, you never know. Like the West Ham game was crazy, and we've seen some crazy games throughout the Premier League season lately. It's just like there's absolutely no guarantee that we are safe yet until the math says so. You can't keep giving these opportunities. Like, yeah, Fulham lost yesterday, sure, but like they could. It's the math, man. It's just.
And as well today, normally we are pretty all right and solid at defense, but today,
yeah.
I didn't know what was going on, but that looked terrible, man. Especially the second goal as well. I don't know what Murphy was watching, but he was defending air.
Yeah, it was bad.
I mean, Steve, are you working this evening? Are you delivering pizzas?
No, not tonight. It's Pizza Academy's closed on Sundays and Mondays, but I'll be around.
This was how you were spending your day off, watching that performance.
Yeah, and then pretty much, man. It was. I look forward to every game, and you guys never disappoint with the content and the live stream and stuff. But it helps if the team is actually winning or at least looking like they're trying. I don't know. But
I mean, at least it's not your birthday like it is Johnny's. I mean,
yeah.
Well and truly spoiled his birthday today. Well and truly.
I think you did actually something really nice, Steve, today, didn't you?
Wait, what was that? Sorry.
You did something really nice actually today, right? You went to another football game.
Yeah, last night. Yeah, I went to the New England Revs versus JN Atlanta's United. Yes, I did.
How was that? What was the score?
It's 2-1, Revolution. But I met with some. There were like 4 or 5 Atlanta fans that we were sitting near. So as soon as they saw me, they're like, "Are you a Miggy fan?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am."
Well, speaking of Miggy, what did you make of his performance? Because I've been saying for a few weeks now, I'm not sure this system plays to his strengths, and it was a bit of headless chicken stuff from him today. What did you think of his performance?
I couldn't agree more, man. He's playing in the wrong position. I like him as an attacking midfielder. I want him to have license to free roam. Let him run a lot, but make it useful. Like, it's just, it looked like I agree. Headless chicken. It's just, it's Bruce, man.
Would you persevere with him on Friday, or do you think? I mean, of course, it goes without saying, Joe Willock was a huge miss for us today. Obviously, he couldn't play against his parent club. But do you bring Willock back in and maybe start him ahead of Almiron on Friday night?
Start him ahead of Shelvey. I think Shelvey's been more of a anonymous character pretty much the entire season, outside of some very nice, give him credit, some very nice goals, but like his performance, it's like it's one thing, like it's okay to be anonymous during a game if you're doing something. Like Icardi with Inter, he wasn't like involved in the play, but if you needed a late goal, he would just come out of nowhere and bam, top corner. He did that in the Milan derbies and stuff in big games. You could be anonymous the whole game, whatever. If that's your thing, if you're not really involved in the play but you pop up with a goal, like that's cool. But Shelvey, it's like he is taking something away from the team by being anonymous and then not scoring and assisting and all this stuff. It's just like, it's frustrating, man. I would go something. Bruce won't do it. Bruce will start Shelvey or Hendrick or one of those guys. He won't do it. But Willock has to play, man, because he couldn't today. But
I think also Willock is someone who can give service to Wilson, because there was today no service to Wilson at all.
Good point.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point. It's such a shame that seeing Callum Wilson's name on the team sheet should be such a big lift, and he looks so isolated at times, and ASM should have been playing 30 yards further up the pitch than what he was. He was having to come to the edge of his own box to take it out. And just to go back on Shelvey very, very briefly, this is the 3rd game in a row now where he's ended up at centre-back, but today, of course, it was down to Fabian Schär's red card. Steve, was it a red, or, was he just stupid?
I think he was. That's tough. Like, because it was so late in the game, I don't really know if it was a red necessarily. But having said that, if you're a ref, you got to make the call. I think it was a red, but it didn't really matter, to be honest. It might matter. Like, I don't know. I just feel so like apathetic. It's just
It was so useless, and I don't know. I think for me it was a straight red, but I think as well who could have been sent off as well for the second yellow card should be Xhaka.
Yeah, no kidding. Yep, Xhaka.
At 10 minutes after the second half start. He
can be a decent player for Arsenal. Like I understand some of the criticism he gets, but like he's an alright player. He shows like he really does try and all that stuff, but sometimes he is rash. It's the same thing with like Serge Aurier. Like he just, I don't know. They make some really rash decisions, reckless. It's just like, But
he was played out of position though, but
what was that?
He was played out of position though, but
as a left back, that's weird. But they're probably looking to that Villarreal game, which they need to win. So.
Yeah, they do, and it almost seems like we just rolled over for them, because at the end of the day, this season they've been a mid-table team.
Sam, I got a question for you though. Do you think that Xhaka should be sent off? I think if it was with us, if some of our players would have done that foul and already with a yellow, he probably send them they would have been sent off. But with Arsenal, it's probably different. But
I'm surprised he didn't, because like I said, if I know that Xhaka has that reputation of being a little bit rash and reckless, passionate, whatever, dedicated, but if he has that reputation, like I've seen it, watching Chelsea, like David Luiz would get, and for Arsenal this year, he's been sent off kind of questionably. I'm surprised, honestly, that Xhaka didn't get sent off, to be honest, because of the reputation he has. It's like, same thing with Neymar. He flops around a lot, so refs kind of have to, sometimes they don't give a true foul because it's like, it's a boy who cried wolf. You don't know if he actually is, got that contact or not. So I'm a bit surprised he didn't, to be honest. I would have.
Oh, speaking of throwing themselves around, I couldn't believe what I was seeing with their centre-back, Gabriel. 6'2", absolutely huge, and then the moment he gets touched, he's down like a sack of shit. I could not believe it. You think of
South American players, man. Nothing against South Americans, no racism. Don't come at me with that absolute bullshit. But and it's not even just South America. It's like whenever I watch CONCACAF or anything like MLS, it's that's just how they're. It's just the way they play. It's no race. Don't come at me with that shit. But
when you think of Arsenal centre backs of 10, 15, 20 years ago,
Tony Adams,
Keown, Sol Campbell, I couldn't see them doing any of that.
Even Koscielny, man, he was all right. Seriously, it was.
I think a lot of players go down quicker when they feel a light touch is because they know they relate on VAR, and then if the VAR sees some sort of contact, they already say okay that's a foul. So that's also another thing that VAR is ruining our game.
Yeah, I think the people running VAR are the ones that the issue. Like here's what VAR is, guys. I'm used to American sports, and instant replays have been a thing for a while, and they get it like 99% of the time. I don't know why. I can't fathom why the people behind these decisions, looking at the camera, come to the conclusions that they do with this stuff. It's ridiculous. Like, I should not have all these camera angles if the ref doesn't. I don't get it. I really don't.
Final question for you, Steve, and then we'll come to Peter, followed by Dylan and Soren. Friday night, do we bounce back? Does anything need to change from the starting 11? What happens?
I would say that Shelby won't be dropped, but you need to drop him. I would honestly just go all guns blazing attack. Seriously, because Leicester's defense can be got at. Seriously. But Bruce won't do that.
No, of course. But what if he does? For who would he need to replace him?
Willock, get Miggy in advance, sort of in an advanced role. It just sucks we don't have Hayden because we don't have that protection. Because then we can play with some more free flowing stuff. This is the whole problem. It doesn't matter. Bruce is in, and he's set on the way that he's playing, and nothing will change of it. And it's just it's just frustrating because we all want to see free flowing attacking. I'd rather lose 6-4 than 2-0. It's just. Ugh.
Yeah, absolutely. Steve, always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend, and
thank you. You too, guys.
That was Steve in the United States of America. Slightly closer to home, Peter Proudlock. How are you, Pete?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. But that performance out there was an absolute pile of dog shite that day. It really was. On the beach today, I felt like.
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you think that after the win at West Ham and the late point at Liverpool, do you think the players and even the coach and staff think that's it, safe for another season?
Felt like it, didn't it? But shouldn't be that because we're not mathematically safe. Yeah, at this moment of time, but up against one of the worst Arsenal sides I've seen this season, who did play a lot of their great players, and a lot of the time it was far too easily for them as well. I thought we did barely test their goalkeeper, one in the first half, but that was it. They may as well have pulled up jack chairs for a lot in that game.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan had nothing to do all day, did he? It was pretty embarrassing. Even it was just the crosses that we were putting in. Normally, like Richie and Murphy, they can whip a ball in. Let's face it.
Yeah.
But today it was just so disappointing, wasn't it?
It was. I thought Murphy was very poor the day. I thought Martinelli was beating them all ends up. So I thought he got Toon won the day. I must say, Miggy, I thought was very poor again. Shelby, sorry, but I've had it with this bloke now. He needs gone at the end of the season, I must say.
He's a big wage. He's around 100k a week or something, 80, if I'm not mistaken.
80 grand a week?
I think so, yeah. He's one of our players who earns the most a week.
That's unbelievable.
So even if okay, Steve Bruce and Newcastle do want to sell him, who's going to come in for him when he's on wages like that?
That's a question.
We already have them.
Don't think many would be by the looks of it.
Why do we need to get someone? We have potential in midfield. Our younger players. Why not give them a shout?
That's a good point. I must say, what's up? Why is Matty? Can't believe he's fallen way down the pecking order as well. But I think we know the reason that.
Do we?
Steve Bruce.
Yeah. Good point. Well taken. Yeah, it's crazy how and whilst you speak of Steve Bruce, we seem to have turned a corner over the past few weeks, picking up wins and some good draws. But today, it seemed to slip back to format,
well,
and the substitutions came way too late once again.
Yeah, well, I know we've picked up wins in the last few games, but the performances still haven't been convincing. I mean, I must say, I didn't think Liverpool was a convincing win. I think that was down to they wasted a lot of chances. They were open at the back. West Ham, I mean, 2-0 up, second half, we let them come far back early, come right back into the game. And then it was after the second goal, we woke up again all of a sudden. They haven't been convincing the performances. The season's been an absolute write-off. I cannot wait for it to end. I hope Steve Bruce goes and get rid of a lot of some of this deadwood out of this club as well.
Absolutely.
I actually see a picture now on Facebook, Sam, with the second goal of Saka being offside.
It wasn't offside. It was definitely offside.
Yeah, that was the thing. On first glance, it did look very, very close, didn't it? And I think it got people's backs got up on social media with the fact that Sky weren't showing the pictures like straight away. But I think like 5-10 minutes after the goal was given, you saw it, and it was pretty level. But you know, it shouldn't have even got to that. It was poor defending in both instances. Peter, what's happening with our defence at the moment? Because I look at players like Kieran Clark who have been so solid for us over the years.
Yeah,
this is his first real stint of poor form for us.
Yeah, well, I think he has been a sloppiness for the past few games, I must say. But yeah, I think the whole defence had a really poor today, I must say as well. It's looked a bit off.
Very true. I just want to slightly divulge away from today's game because, I mean, there's only so often you can flog a dead horse. I just want to speak very briefly with you, Peter, about these protests at Old Trafford who, as I'm just looking now, protesters are being moved away from the stadium by bigger boys, the police. And it seems like the match is going to go ahead, but obviously with a heavy delay. What do you make of them sort of protests?
Wow. You can understand their frustration, but I mean, to get in the ground and do it during a pandemic, still, where no fans are allowed in? No. Outside, okay, but inside, where you're not allowed? No.
But
Brandon, you like anarchy, Brandon. What do you think?
I think this makes a stronger point than what we tried to do to Mike Ashley. this is a clear message. That's how I look at it.
The thing is, like I've seen on Sky, like Gary Neville and Carragher and Roy Keane and all them one. I mean, they've all got something in common in their former players of the greedy six, as it were. If we'd have done something like that against Mike Ashley, I doubt the reaction in the media would have been exactly the same. Don't you think?
Yeah.
But that's the thing. I think if we do it, it's probably not on Sky and during a live match. And now how they do it? It's on Sky when our match is on. They just do a split screen, for example, and they talk about it all the time. This is how you protest, in my opinion. You make a stand here, like whether you agree with it or not, but it's a strong statement.
Why am I not surprised you're in favour of anarchy, Brandon? Why am I not surprised? You'd be there, tops off, beer bottles in hand, throwing flares. I know your sort.
Pyro.
Exactly. Peter, just finally, and we'll come to Dylan if he's still there. If not, we'll come to Soren afterwards. What changes would you make going into Friday?
Oh, I'd like to see Joe Willock come into the start lineup. I think Shelby should come out, but will Bruce have the balls to drop him since he's been having the captain's armband? That is the thing, but I just, Steve Bruce should just have the balls to just drop players who simply underperforming. You could look at Miggy as well, because I think he's underperformed the last few games as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes.
Couldn't agree more.
Your score prediction?
Oh, get away to Leicester. I think it could be a 2-0 Leicester win, unfortunately. Which is I hate to say.
Do you know what? I don't disagree with you either. And to be honest, I had a feeling about something like this would happen today as well. But hey ho, that's Newcastle United for you. Peter, what have you got coming up on your channel over the
quick
next few
thoughts
days?
are out. I've got quick thoughts out, and I'll be getting the player ratings out at some point as well.
Job's a good one. Thanks for coming on, Peter. We'll see you soon. Cheers, mate. Dylan, let's welcome him on now. How are you, Dylan?
Shit as usual after Newcastle, but I'm grand in general. But Jesus Christ, that club is driving me to an early grave.
Yeah. Let's start with this. I've seen a few comments about us not exposing Granit Xhaka down there, left, our right. Do you think Jacob Murphy and even ASM, do you think they could have done more today?
They could have, but we never had that real attacking kind of, what's the word, like want to actually get at Arsenal. Because Xhaka, I said at the start, my brother's an Arsenal fan and he hates Xhaka playing at left back. He's there to be hit, but when you're as defensive as us, these players you have to target. Unfortunately, you're almost the last players we would target.
It just made no sense how we didn't even shove some men down that for attacks. Like why couldn't Sean Longstaff pull across and double up and put Xhaka under pressure? Because we know, and I know he made a fairly cynical foul that could arguably have been a second yellow. It just seemed like an opportunity wasted, don't you think?
That's with us though. We've wasted a lot of those opportunities, but it's just that's one that really would annoy us. If we actually do go down, I think we will be fine. But games like this, where you have players like Xhaka out of position and he's slow as well, he's not quick. We have players like Maximin and Murphy who were predominantly down his side, and the fact we didn't exploit them is absolutely, baffling. And the fact that it's the worst Arsenal team in years makes it all the worse as well.
We've always had a horrendous record against Arsenal.
Always. They always turn up against us somehow.
Oh, I know. I remember, like, when Ozil, they used to rant about him being out of form. He always used to play well against us. It was right.
You get a goal and an assist against us then, and look like Ozil from the past.
Yeah, last season as well, I remember going down to the Emirates with Lee in raging floodwater and this, that, and the other.
Oh,
0-0 at half time. You think, oh, this is all right, and then you get turned over 4-0 in the second half.
4-0, yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Would you have done anything different today, Dylan, in terms of the system or earlier substitutions?
I think the teams, the way the team looked, I liked the look of it. To be fair, I wasn't disappointed with the selection, but it's to get at them because they're suspect at the back. But that's what is Newcastle's issue. We won't get at teams, but the odd few chances we do get to go at them, we actually look like we could do something. But that's our biggest Achilles heel, is Bruce just not straying away from his defensive way of playing, pretty much.
Brandon, would you have gone for that? Were you happy with that system? Would you have changed, or what were your thoughts?
Well, the system we played used to work in some sort of way before, but like today, I think it was just a lack of motivation of people. I think I should stick with this formation as it kind of worked. But I do prefer, though. I think a 3-4-1-2 probably with Willock as a 10 position, box to box player, and then. But on the other hand, I don't know. I think you should play Wilson on top, just alone, with wingers who give him service. But
yeah,
I have to think about it a little bit more, actually. I will do that.
Jimmy in the comment, free Matty. I'm going to ask you about this, Dylan. Free Matty movement. He was on the bench today. At least he was somewhere.
No.
Why is he playing? Do you not think he's better suited in this system than a Mickey Almiron or a John Joe?
To be honest, not even just John Joe. Sean Longstaff is not a good footballer at all. Is Matty? We saw a glimpse of Matty, and okay, he's not the best footballer, but he's surely better than Longstaff and Shelby, because he actually might offer something. Our midfield is probably the worst midfield in the league, and I'm not even exaggerating with that, because Shelby and Longstaff offer nothing defensively or going forward. They only offer sprayed passes, and that's really it.
Do you not think Sean's in there to do the donkey work that Hayden did?
He's there to do it, but Hayden did it much better. But like, if Sean Longstaff wasn't a Geordie, this is the Geordie sentiment, he would have been hounded out a long time ago. If Joe Linton's getting all this, like Joe Linton's getting all this stick, I think Longstaff's the equivalent of Joe Linton and possibly worse, or not far from being worse, in his position.
Respectfully disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
I think I like Sean, and I think he gets a bit of he gets a bit of a hard time, and I think he's suffering at the hands of Steve Bruce's management. I saw a little clip highlight video of Sean on Twitter a few months ago, and when he first broke through the team, and it was just absolutely chalk.
He looked a right good player then, but you could attribute that down to Bruce, because obviously, as results show, like, Bruce is not a good manager, and maybe Sean is suffering through Bruce, but then again, you're there to do a job and do it decently, but I just don't see it in him.
We were told he's a number 10, and he's never, like, I remember back end of last season, he played in the 10, went off injured at Bournemouth, but like before then, he was absolutely superb. And then he hasn't played in the 10 since, and now he's got back in, and now he's doing, as I said earlier, he's doing the defensive side of things that Isaac Hayden would normally do. Both of the Longstaff's contracts are up at the end of next season. What would you do with them?
Well, with Sean, I think I made my points on him pretty clear. Like, he could be a good player, but I just don't see it. And Matty's on a big enough, like, for his age, kind of, is on a big enough contract. He's on a 20 grand a week, or I think, or over 10 anyway, for someone that's not played in Youngs. Like, he could be a good player, but if we can't see him play too much, then he's obviously not doing enough in training.
It's a tricky one.
I'd like to see him play more often because I think he has ability, but he's not being given the chance to show it.
Brandon, I mean, this is kind of an early keep loan sell video for the end of the season, but with Sean and Matty, Brandon, would you offer them new contracts? Would you sell them in the summer?
Matty for sure, because we should have been learning from selling players and loaning players and just sell them and look at Tony and Armstrong. We should have learned from that, in my opinion. But I would sell Sean because I think he had enough chance to prove himself. But Matty, he didn't. You can go for a year loan at some
championship or even
something close, or that's just on the same level of like the Premier League, like compatible, not like some Dutch league or whatever. But depends on who we sell on the next transfer window. I think from that you have to decide if you keep Matty or not. But it also depends on which manager we have, probably.
Things with Matty as well. I mean, a 2-year deal for someone of his age in the Premier League is quite short. But then he gets handed the number 4 shirt, which is like a proper squad number, isn't it? It's not.
It's a big number to have. Yeah,
exactly.
Like it's only a shirt number, but something like that is a big sign, because it's just something as little as that is a big sign that you could have a big future, but it's just not happened.
Very, very true. Derek, Arsenal 8 changes, a training session. Absolutely, it was. Bruce has lost the plot again.
I'm sick of Bruce. I fucking hate him now. I am absolutely sick of him.
I mean, I'll let you answer Don's question, Dylan, before we let you go and bring Søren in. What did you think of saint-maximin's performance today?
He tried, like, he didn't have too many chances to get at them. Like, I can't say anything positive really about. He tried, that's about it, but he couldn't really create anything out of what he had either. So it's just an absolute shit show in general.
Yeah, I agree. He was having to come so deep to our own back line to get the ball, and then he's having to run 60 yards with the ball.
Exactly.
And I agree completely, Dylan. Final one, Leicester Friday night. How bad is it going to be, or are we going to bounce back?
Leicester are such a hit and miss team around this time of the season. Last year they blew What?
So are Arsenal.
Well, Arsenal are worse, to be fair. So, jeez. It could be anything from 5-0 Leicester to us sneaking like 1-0 or 2-1, but if I had to go, it'd be 2 or 3-0 Leicester. If I had to have a safe kind of score prediction.
Yeah, I really, really, really don't disagree.
Far.
But you know, Dylan, we'll I dare say we'll speak to you again on Friday night. Hopefully, we're all in a better mood and we've actually put in a performance and not just
only team putting us in a good mood is Fulham at the moment. So
absolutely, yeah, brilliant. Good to speak to you, Dylan, and we'll
cheers, lads.
Brandon, before we bring in Søren, let's just briefly touch on Fulham, because I recall our predictor video that we did. It was about a month ago now, wasn't it?
I think more.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. All right, splitting hairs. We both had Brighton to go down.
Yeah.
Has your opinion now changed after their win at Leeds yesterday?
Say that one more time, mate.
Has your opinion changed now after Brighton's win at Leeds yesterday?
Yeah. I think it stays like it is now. Fulham, West Brom, Sheffield go down. Yours?
Yeah, I would agree now. I would have thought, because Fulham sort of had green shoots and kind of potential to do a bit better than what they have. But then I think it's nearly something like 6 defeats in a row for them now. That's well and truly done. They've got 4 games left. Can you see them picking up any sort of decent points at all? Obviously, we play them last day of the season.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're safe, and Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield will go down. I don't think there's any more discussion, in my opinion.
Okay, there's no more discussion on it then. Let's bring in Soren. Good afternoon, Soren. How are you?
I'm fine, guys. How about you?
I'm good. Good.
I mean, could be better after sitting through that. What did you make of that game?
It was pathetic from minute 1 to 90. Absolutely clueless for the whole 90 minutes. We offered nothing going front, and just shambolic today. After performing so good for the past 5 to 6 games, not so good, but could be better than what we performed today. This was shambolic.
Totally.
What were you most disappointed with? Was it the defence, the defending on show today from Clark? And I thought Dummett was poor for the first goal, and Fernandez was off the boil as well today. Or was it? I see a lot of comments about John Joe Shelby and Longstaff. What disappointed you the most today?
It was about the start. We gave them enough space to run into us, and we sat back quite deep this game. Like when you compare the game to Spurs, we started in front foot against Spurs, and Spurs really struggled to keep us down that game. But today it was completely opposite, and Arsenal had us in the first 10 minutes, and the goal was inevitable, the initial goal. And John Joe Shelby, I really don't want John Joe Shelby in the team anymore. Steve Bruce wouldn't drop him, that's for sure. But I would never keep him in the lineup again. The defensive contribution he does is absolutely zero, and he offers just like one pass behind the defense of the opposition. That's just like 1 out of 100 that goes in exactly.
I would say though, if Steve Bruce drops Shelby, if he has the balls to do that, then he earns a little bit of respect back for me. What about you, Søren?
Yeah, drop Shelby, give Matt Ritchie the armband, and bring Joe Willock into the team, and that would be perfect for the next game.
Do you not think you'd need a bit more balance in the midfield? Because you're not the first to say drop Shelby, bring in Willock, and then I remember Steve saying that right at the top of the show. Do you not think that would leave some holes in the midfield? And do you not think someone like Matty, or dare I say Jeff Hendrick, would be better in there than if you were going to drop Shelby?
So what? For that, Almiron is actually not quite comfortable in the midfield 3. His natural position is obviously the number 10 role, which we can't afford with this formation right now. So what we could possibly do is we can play a midfield trio of Matty, Willock, and Sean Longstaff. In that way, we could have more legs in Matty Longstaff, who could cover a large amount of grass, and even Sean Longstaff covers a large amount of grass, which Shelby absolutely doesn't. And with Shelby in the lineup, it's like we play with 10 against 11 from minute 1.
Yeah, I agree with you about your midfield 3. I just had to kind of play devil's advocate and mention Jeff Hendrick. We all know he's getting nowhere near the team. About this formation, though, because I always bang on about 4-2-3-1, because I think with the squad we've got, it's just so obvious. And then you could get the most out of ASM and Almiron and Ryan Fraser if and when he's ever fit again. Are you a fan of this 3 at the back kind of wing back formation, or what would you rather see?
My favorable formation will obviously be the 4-2-3-1. Before next season, it surely be 4-2-3-1. Like we would have some amount of games in pre-season, so we get used to that 4-2-3-1 setup. But for the remaining games, I would stick with this formation instead of switching the formations in the crucial period of the campaign. So my favorable one is 4-2-3-1 for sure.
Yeah. Brandon, do you agree with us, or do you prefer?
Something along those lines. Yes, 4-2-3-1, 3-4-1-2 can be possible as well, depending on who you play. But yeah, mostly yes. But I also agree with Siren that right now is not the moment to change formations anymore. You should now stick to this formation because we picked up points with this formation, unusual points as well. So let's stick to this, and then whoever is in charge next season should probably at least consider it. But I think it also depends on the players who you have available for you though.
Well, will Fabian Schär be available for us next season? He certainly won't be for the next 3 games with his red card today. Soren, was it a red?
It's not actually for me. It's a yellow. It must be yellow for sure, but the boot is not high enough for me to be a red in this case. If that's a red, I would have wanted Granit Xhaka to be off as well. You can't be giving. You can't be like waving off that and giving this as a red in this game.
I think it's a red though. It's pretty foul. It's pretty nasty tackle in my opinion.
It was unnecessary, of course, but it's borderline red. I mean, soft red for me in this case.
Yeah, I think Brandon, you've got a good point there. Not that you didn't, Soren, but Brandon, when he said it was an unnecessary tackle, I mean, Schär's shown glimpses of foolishness before, and to me, it just seemed really, really idiotic, and there was just no need to even attempt a challenge such as that. When you've worked 11 weeks, when you've been out for 11 weeks injured, you weren't even supposed to really be fit in time for the end of the season, but you've broke your back to get back fit to then go and do that and miss the next 3 games. Do you think Fabian Schär really wants to be at Newcastle United anymore, Soren?
I'm not sure about that. In the tacklement, like we have to clear a few defenders, of course, before the next season. We have so many with Florian Lejeune back with us. Lejeune must be in the starting lineup for me. He has been so good in Spain.
Yes, Soren, come on, you tell us. Talk to me about Lejeune and how great he is.
Yeah, I mean, I would prefer Lejeune and Fernandes centre back pairing next season for me. I wouldn't even have Lascelles as a centre back for me. He's a good leader, Lascelles for me for sure. I feel Fernandes is a better defender to have in this lineup ahead of Lascelles.
Oh, you were going so well. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you have Lascelles? Because I'm not convinced. I don't disagree with you about Fernandes. I think he's great. Didn't play well today at all, but and age isn't really on his side, but he's still decent to have around. Why do you think he's better than Lascelles? Lascelles
has mistakes in his own, I guess. I have seen in past few games, like whenever he played, he goes in for tackles unnecessarily. And sometimes he presses and moves away from the defensive line at times. Lascelles, I feel Fernandes is a more solid option to have alongside a ball-playing centre back like Florian Lejeune.
Brandon?
Yeah, I think I agree with him on Lascelles. Although it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because he's such a leader. You'll notice if Lascelles is not playing, because there's not a real leader in our squad now. But defensively, Fernandes is better. You can even make a case for Clark being a better defender for Lascelles than Lascelles as well, defensive-wise. Do you agree on that, Sam? Apart from today,
Lascelles and Clark are quite equal for me.
Yeah?
Fernandes is a bit higher up for me than in that.
Yeah, I agree with you. So.
Interesting. I also think it's an interesting point from Kelsey in the comments there. I don't think Bruce likes Lejeune, so don't be surprised if he's sold. I completely agree. I kind of got that feeling as well. But I think it's incredibly harsh because Lejeune, and I've said it ever since I've been on Newcastle Fans TV, Lejeune has always been our best centre-back. But the only centre-back we haven't spoke about in this brief little debate is Paul Dummett. I thought he was a bit at fault for the first goal. He got terribly outpaced by Hector Bellerin, and maybe for me could have done a bit more in stopping the ball coming in, which Aubameyang fluffed, and then Elneny dispatched. What did you make of his performance today, Soren?
Dummett was below average for me this game. He was quite good in the previous games, but today he was a bit down for me in the rating scale. And Dummett, he used to be good for us, and once he came back in the squad lineup this season, was good for a few games. But today it was a bit below average for me from Dummett.
Brandon, who do you blame for the first goal? If there is anyone to blame, was it just a well-worked goal?
As much as I hate to say it, though, I think Dubravka could have saved it. And you know how much...
that's what I was saying. You were for.
Yeah, I knew you would. But, I know you wanted this answer, but unfortunately I have to agree. He could have at least done better. Yeah.
Having got a palm to that, I would have expected him to save that one. We have seen Dubravka save much better ones than this, but similar to this also similar to the goal we considered against West Ham. Diop headed on ball into the goal, and even for that goal, Dubravka palmed it, but it went past him in the goal.
Do you still prefer Dubravka to Darlow, or do you think Darlow was a bit harshly treated when he was dropped?
For me, Dubravka is our number one goalkeeper. When Dubravka is available, I would keep him over Darlow for sure.
Thank you, Suren. Thank you for this.
You're
You're saving me here.
I agree. I think with them two, I think Darlow maybe does the basics a bit better, but Dubravka will save things just like as you said, Soren, that are just absolute worldy saves that no one else could do. But like the two examples you've used today, obviously, and the West Ham one, they happen with him quite a bit.
But Darlow has that as well. And I think in aerial duels, Dubravka is better than Darlow.
Darlow used to do this quite often before this season, but this season he has been quite exceptional for us, Darlow. But still, it would be Dubravka or Darlow for me when Dubravka is available.
Yeah, I agree. Soren, I want to ask you, because I see from the window behind you it's dark. Where are you speaking to us from?
I'm from India, mate.
Whereabouts in India are you at the moment?
In Chennai, Tamil Nadu.
Ah, okay. I know where that is. How long have you been following Newcastle United for?
It's been 10 years, mate. Like 2010, 11, 12 season. I started following Newcastle. It's been 10 years for me.
And a slight rude question, but how old are you now?
I'm 22.
22? Oh,
yeah.
You start. Why did you follow Newcastle already so early? What made you follow Newcastle?
I started following football just from 2010 World Cup. And it was just World Cup games for me back then. And when I had to choose the club in 11-12, I started following more Premier League games. And I loved Johan Cabaye back then. Johan Cabaye, Cisse, that team. From that team, I am supporting.
So you followed us in 11-12. That was the season we finished 5th. You thought, these are pretty good. And then it's just been absolute shite ever since.
I've stuck to this, and I won't leave this one.
So in the season in the Championship, then does that get shown on a TV in India, or do you have to find a stream?
We'll get some streams here, but not official ones. It will more be like radio commentaries and the score lines being tracked. That's how it is in India. I guess that's how it works when you are in Championship and you are an overseas supporter. You don't get used to see Championship games much. And for that reason, I don't want us to be relegated soon.
No,
as well after that 5th place finish, and then us going to the Championship, you went through all of that, and you still support us. I think you can say you're a Geordie as well.
Yeah,
I am, and just as much as Sam is.
Well, right? I mean, none of us are proper Geordies, but we all are in our own little way. Have you ever been over to England before, Soren, or have you got kind of a thing planned to go over to Newcastle one day to see a game?
I do have a plan in like 4 to 5 years. I will surely be coming over to St. James's Park and enjoy that atmosphere. I would really love to be a part of that Geordie nation singing around the 52,000 Geordies. And hopefully the owner and the manager is different from now.
And in that time, just keep coming on the fan reaction show more often, man.
Yeah, sure.
It's good to see a new face and
Absolutely.
someone else from a different. I think you're the first person from India we had on, right?
Yeah, I mean, we stretch far and wide from around the world. We've had South Africa, I remember Indonesia one week, America, all parts of America. It's brilliant. It's Australia as well. Yeah, it's brilliant. Yeah, thank you very much for coming on, Soren. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. Do feel free to come back on Friday after the Leicester game.
Sure, mate.
Cheers.
Good to see you.
What an absolute top man he was, wasn't he?
And he knows his stuff as well.
Doesn't he, Joe?
And stay keep supporting us even in the bad times.
Yeah.
So for me, you're a Geordie then as well.
Exactly. I thought you knew more than you. Oh, you're not biting. Okay, we've got some time left. If you do want to join me and Brandon,
Sam. Question, by the way. Why didn't we win any headers today? What was wrong with us?
What?
We couldn't win any headers. When Arsenal had a corner kick, we lost all of them.
Yes, good point. I take back what I said. Maybe you now know more than Soren again. Yeah, no, very good point. I think, but the thing is as well, our defending from set pieces has been poor ever since Steve Bruce has been Newcastle manager. And the same thing was happening. I thought Fernandes was particularly poor for defending from set pieces because he let his man go quite a few times. It was very, very odd. I think considering the back three that we had, Fernandes, Clark, Dummett, who are all pretty comfortable in the air.
Yeah, that's why it surprised me so much.
Yeah, no, I
got a guy like Elneny putting in headers. Like, what's going on?
And I think the best thing that Miguel Almiron did today was he was so alert from defending from the corner. If you noticed, he got dragged off the line and then he got called back, and then Elneny won the header and Almiron was back there to clear it off the line. I thought that was his best contribution of the day, because after that I thought he was, well, not anonymous.
I can't see anyone score higher than a 5 today, really. Should we bring Steven in?
What do you want?
I don't know. I've just randomly came in. That wasn't meant to happen.
Honestly, did you just see Soren from India? How fantastic was he?
I did. Kick me out for 2 minutes. I'll just set myself up and I'll have a chat with you.
Oh,
let's bring in Steve.
Go on, let's bring in Steve. He's been waiting in the. He's had an outfit change.
Yes, he does.
Yes, indeed.
Has Lady Gaga always been a big inspiration for you and her costume changes?
I guess so. I actually do like Lady Gaga. It's weird, but I do. I have my mom is into music a lot, and I remember just listening to her.
I do like Lady Gaga as well, and the guys made fun of me that I like that movie. What was it called again? With Bradley Cooper.
Oh, the Star something. A Star is Born.
Stars Born. Yeah. And after that moment when I spoke about it on the watch along, we scored a goal. So.
Well, that's not going to happen now. But anyway, let's talk about the football. Really good chat with Soren there, Steve. He made some very good points. Do you kind of agree with what he was saying about the midfield three?
Why does it do that, man?
Yeah, midfield three is big, man. Hey, Lee.
Hello, man.
What's going on? Yeah, midfield three was it was poor. I'm just gonna end up repeating myself, man. Shelby just needs to get the hell out. I don't see the point, man.
Lee, can you defend John Joe Shelby or not?
Not today, no. I think he's got to play, hasn't he? Because he's captain. That's the thing, though. In terms of performances, I wanted a couple of changes done just around about the hour mark, which was in centre midfield. Have a bit of legs in there because also we're dominating. We were talking beforehand that they've only got Elneny and Ceballos, and it doesn't even scare you that two that sits in the field. We had the three, and they actually outbossed us today, which with going with John Joe, he's not going to come out the side, but I would like to see it because if you want to start the lineup, no.
I also think the majority of the Newcastle fans thought today, before the ball was kicked, that we could maybe go away here with 3 points. I think, and it wasn't weird to think that as well. Right?
Yeah, because I've been watching the past few Arsenal games, and they are so up and down. They're inconsistent. They're 10th in the league for a reason, and they had problems with Villarreal. They've had problems with Slavia Praha. They've had problems with Olympiacos. Europa League specifically. We haven't even talked about the Burnley loss at home. Everton beat them. Fulham tied them. The list goes on and on and on. And it's just
I completely understand where you're coming from. I picked out one good thing that Miggy did today, so I'm going to pick out one good thing that Shelby did today. He made an absolutely sumptuous pass over to Matt Ritchie on the left, which was absolute pure filth. Nothing at all came from it, but it was absolute pinnacle Hollywood John Joe Shelby. That's it. Anyway, everything else he did.
You should do more of that. You should do more of that.
I mean, he tried, but they didn't go where they wanted to go. So, it was kind of wasted. But yeah, and nothing came from that fantastic pass. I think Richie crossed it in, and Matt Ryan gathered, as he did pretty much everything. Lee, how disappointed are you that we didn't work the goalkeeper today?
Well, he tested him once, which was ASM in the first half, where it deflected, and it wasn't enough from Richie, for my opinion, getting up and down that byline. It wasn't enough for Murphy. Murphy was skinned a couple of times by Martinelli defensively, so he's probably been a little bit worried there. Wilson didn't have enough. He wasn't fed. Strikers, you're only as good as your strikers, and the strikers are in service today. I've always doubted ASM playing up top with Wilson. I said that earlier on in the season. I just don't see those two work. I'm still right to be proved wrongly, if that makes sense, that those two don't work as a duo. I'd rather, if you're going to have Wilson cannot read ASM because ASM likes to go past football players and go on the left-hand side. That would frustrate me as a striker. If I'm playing at the top and I've got someone like that, not give me the fucking ball, let me score the ball. Whereas ASM's like, I'm putting on the ball. ASM's great at what he does, but as a striker, that's not good for Callum Wilson. You want boxes, cross coming in from out right into the box. You want to be feeding off ricochets. You want to be fed in that number 10. So if you want to play Wilson up top, Mickey is the perfect point from, because at least Mickey will try to lift up and play.
You can't seriously think that you would have dropped ASM today, though. No.
I'll put ASM somewhere else. The thing is, if you play this formation, where are you going to play him? Because Almiron's suffering in this formation. He has not been the same player. He is suffering massively. So if you're going to play to the team strength rather than the individual strength, then you need to start playing for the players in the team. So if you're going to play 5 at the back at Leicester, Miggy has to come out the side, unfortunately, but it's not working for him. Miggy's better than the players in this 11, yes, but he's being wasted that centre midfield position. Could go to Ramai, even fucking Jeff Hendrick, for fuck's sake. And not that you want Jeff Hendrick.
No.
No, you get the point, though, that he's being wasted in this midfield 3, and that position could be going to a Matty or a Jeff Hendrick who will get better used out of it. The same as goes with ESM. If you're going to play Wilson up top, ESM and Wilson just won't work. So you're going to have to take one of them going back to the bench to benefit the team, or you completely change the formation for Leicester.
Interesting. I can't see the formation being like Brandon said earlier. I completely agree with, which I don't say very often.
Say that again.
Yeah, I did. I completely agree with you. Now is not the time to really change formation again. I think it's something that's going to be. It wouldn't be an NFT video without your cat. I nearly did a pun of something then, but no, we're better than that.
Should I get my pussy out? Or?
God's sake! I said we were better than that, and then the pair of you have gone in on one. Honestly, I've lost my train of thought. Completely gone after that.
You agree with me?
Oh yes, I did. Yeah,
Thank
you.
Yeah,
I think now is not the time to change formation because I think he's used enough formations this season, to be quite honest, and none of them are the right one. Hopefully, we can kind of reset, get rid of the deadwood in the summer, and start again 4-2-3-1. And I look, Fraser, Miggy, and ASM behind Callum Wilson just seems so logical to me. I mean, and that's a really good front four as well.
Yes.
Lee, can I ask you a question? As I said, if we sell Jonjo, which I wouldn't be against, people were saying like, who should we buy? For example, Sam said like, who would you buy for that amount of money or whatever? I don't think we have to sell anyone. I think we already have the players to cover up for Shelby with his Elliot Anderson or Benny Longstaff.
The thing is with Shelby is he's never been advanced midfield player. He's always wanted to pick the ball off the defence and play his way. If you look at our midfield options, you've got Sean, who's predominantly number 10. Matty is probably the next best to buzz around. Hayden, for me, that's his position next season. Jeff Hendrick is the freebie, he's a squad player at best.
Yeah.
Ali Anderson is not the one I want to sit in the front of the defence because he likes to go forward. He's more of your advanced midfielder. But if you sold Jonjo Shelby, you wouldn't get much for him. To be honest, we bought him for 12 million. Is he actually worth more than that? 29? Years. And what does 12 million get you? You sold him at the same price. And he's a midfielder. So you've got a midfielder there in Joe Willock, who is the best option going forward. And whether that's a loan to permanent, that's the logical sense. But you don't want to blow all your, because money's not going to be blown this summer. You don't want to blow all your money on Joe Willock and not have no one else to cover because the squad needs competition at right back, needs competition up front. Like with Wilson being coming up the walls, it also needs competition in centre fields. Willock would be that guy, but I wouldn't want to blow all the budget just on Joe Willock because the squad depth is really difficult.
Yeah.
I had to level with it.
What team out there would buy Shelby for, what'd you say, 29, 30, 20?
He's 29 years of age and we bought him for 12 million. I don't think we'll get more than that if we sold him.
Yeah. Who would buy him?
I think West Ham were always interested, weren't they? But I think they're beyond that now. I think they can probably do better, can't they? Unless you look at one of the promoted sides, would he do a job for one of them? Do they have the money? Do they have the wage budget for that? I'm not so sure.
I mean, let's be real. Norwich are just going to go straight back down like they always do.
Or you can look at players who go down like we did. We picked Wilson up. We picked Fraser up. The bottom three who go down, would you take any of them from those bottom three?
You wouldn't have anyone from Sheffield United, would you?
No.
There's a guy on Sheffield. No. Actually, what's his name? Not Osborne. Jeez, his name escaped me. Hold up.
Black Norwood.
No.
What was their big money signing, like Sander Berge or something?
Yeah, Sander Berge I would take him. I'm trying to think. I have to Google it. Name escapes me.
If you look, because really that's where we're looking at in the summer.
Jaden Bogle. I like Jaden Bogle, to be honest.
He's a right back. He's a right back, though, isn't he?
Yes.
Well, we need one.
Yeah. And then if you look at it, that's where we're fishing at the top of the Championship, bottom of the Premier League, maybe Scottish Premier League as well. Because if we're looking abroad, we're probably going to have to risk probably a couple of unknowns again. And the ESM finding was brilliant because we only got 17, 18 million. That's one success. But I mean, Steve, you watch more European football than probably all of us three put together. You've probably got more names for us than we have for you.
Yeah. So, let's see here. Give me a position. So, what do you think is the most dire need for Newcastle's squad? Right back.
Like a mid, I think. Someone for Shelby.
Yeah, someone for Shelby, like Koopmeiners from AZ Alkmaar.
Koopmeiners, yeah.
Koopmeiners. I'm trying to think of someone else. Like
Gutsen is on a free again. He wants to leave PSV Eindhoven. Imagine Mario Gutsen at PSV.
that would
He's
be
on-
nice. That would be nice.
Doesn't
Fulham,
work.
well, Fulham have a lot of loan players, don't they? They've just half of their squad's full of
Yeah.
loan players, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like they've got Loftus-Cheek, haven't they? I think someone commented that before. Lamina, I'll probably take Loftus-Cheek the first
We've
option.
been linked with Lamina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be overly against that. And as Kelsey's just put in the comments there, I mean, we've previously been linked with Lookman as well.
Yeah, you got him. didn't you?
Yeah, we did, but again, we probably don't need. I'd say we don't need a
disagree.
winger. Depends if Fraser stays fit, doesn't it?
I think having another option to fight against ESM and Fraser Almiron is a good thing. Because now, if you look at our bench today, there's no options to try and change the game.
And that's what we were missing. That's what we had with obviously Willett coming off the bench as an impact player. That's why I said in Sam versus Bruce, which is an exclusive members only video that we do, I would have dropped Almiron and then he could have been our impact player with 30 minutes to go. Someone to run at a tired Arsenal team. And I would have stuck in a Matty in midfield. So you've got 3 proper centre mids in there. But, you know, Steve Bruce doesn't listen to me. But hey-ho.
I would say... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go on, Steve.
Oh, no. So I was trying to think of a center midfield that I would like. I was actually thinking Miguel Veloso from Ellis Verona. I really like him, actually. Good at set pieces, dictates the play. I think Veloso would probably be. I have to look up how old he is, but whenever and Verona are overperforming. They got promoted last year and finished within the top 10 in Italy, kind of flirting with the Europa League spot. And Veloso is a Portugal international too, so I would say Veloso. You could get him maybe 20, 30 million maybe, but I like Veloso.
So
who needs Y-Scout when you've got Stephen New?
I've already checked this again. When we get links, when we do transfer room videos over the summer, there's a guy right there.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. There's a new video over there. We could use for the position that we need. We can ask Steve to do some research and come up with studies.
Or actually, or another guy I actually would not mind. Have you guys ever heard of Teji Sevigny for Montpellier?
Nope.
He's a good midfielder. He got transferred from Montpellier bought him a year or two ago from Nîmes, and he's been very. There are actually a few players on Montpellier that I think would do very well.
I think of the European quiz competition, Sam. I think he would lose this one.
I don't disagree.
Maybe.
I don't disagree at all. We've got about 5 minutes left, so I want to ask Lee about the protests going on at Old Trafford. Well, they've finished now. They've been removed by bigger boys. But would you have liked to have seen that style of protest happen against Mike Ashley at Newcastle, or is it a bit far for you what's happened today?
What, to get him out of the club, like similar kind of protest?
Yeah.
It's never really been done, has it? There's been a lot of stuff outside. I think if it was on a match day, you would get arrested. I can't see many of the fans that were at Old Trafford today getting arrested. I think a lot of them will get off. So that's difficult. If it was an event at St. James's Park, you could game crash it. Like those, I don't know, like know how they used to have the open days where you can watch for training. That's really the only other way I could see it. Because you're running the risk, and people, if you break up on the pitch, you won't get arrested, and you're chucked in a cell for a couple of nights, and then you put in court and get a big fine, you get a criminal record, you might lose a job. A lot of risk at stake. I'd love to see it. I'm not brave enough to do that because I've got a lot to lose. But if people do it, great, that would help. But it's a big ask, mate.
It is, but from a policing point of view, it just seems like no one's been arrested. They've just been moved along.
And you can't arrest 2,000 people, can you?
Yeah.
I mean, not at once.
No, not at once. They might nick 10, half a dozen, and what have you.
And to be fair, if it was Newcastle and if fans disrupted a match day, they'd just release Matt Ritchie and he'd just get rid of us all anyway with relative ease, I would have thought. Anyway, that was the fan reaction show. Thank you, Steve, for coming back on.
Of course.
As always.
Love it. Thank you.
Not at all. I mean, you're now the resident European football expert for NFTV. But,
From America.
From America, yeah, go figure. But Scoring the Players is coming up in 5 minutes' time with myself, the birthday boy Johnny, and Adam, and then the lovely man in the bottom right-hand corner there, Mr. Lee Lawler, is back as always for the last.
40 with us.
Ah, okay. 40. He's with Lee for the last word at 6:15, and then that's another match day wrapped up, and we'll do it all over again on Friday night. So my thanks to Brandon and yourself, Lee, for coming on to guest, and Steve as well for working double time. And head on over now to Scoring the Players in about 4 minutes. So stay tuned to Newcastle Fans TV.